It's the Wise Home Energy Show on WYSL.
Pure energy.
And your host, as always, the smiling, genial Jeff Flaherty.
Hey, Bob. Always great to be in the hot seat with you, the master of the mic across the...
Oh, shucks, thanks. Boy, and it is a hot seat today, isn't it?
It is. It is. Thank goodness. What a wonderful spring we're having, except I believe they're saying the pollen is bad. I've noticed my challenges, and many of my coworkers and loved ones, I hear kind of the same thing.
Yeah, the cottonwood is what gets me.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. We talk about, closing up the house and making sure we filtrate out some of this stuff. And then I'll have a client, tell me, the spouse keeps the windows open, likes the fresh air. I'm like, well, we can't really do anything about that.
Put the filter on the spouse.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love the fresh air. So if I had my druthers, I'd keep the windows open as much as possible. But
well, when the rains come, that'll clear things out considerably, and then people will be unhappy about the rain. But no, this is actually one of the worst parts of the country for pollen.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, that's so I'm told.
Yeah, absolutely. I drove down here today, and I almost made it the whole way without having a bad experience. It seems like driving is a challenge these days. I tell people, friends and coworkers and loved ones, don't hit the gas when the light turns green. Look around, because it is kind of a crazy time these days, isn't it?
Yeah, the red lights in Rochester have become kind of optional in the city. It's kind of a recommendation.
Yeah, it's amazing. Is it like a post-COVID thing, like the death of decorum? I've flown a little bit the past year, and apparently there's airplane Olympics. I don't know if you've seen it, but the people in the back, they are playing more than the people in the front, and they run down the aisle to get out first. So I always think maybe they should just buy the first class ticket if they want to get out first.
Yeah, exactly. or just Rome wasn't built in a day. Utica was, I know, but not Rome.
Right.
And so just be patient. I mean, how much time difference can there possibly be disembarking from a plane?
Yeah.
A lot of crazy stuff going on planes. People losing it, wigging out, and screaming. It's obscenities, and come on, take it easy.
It really is. I want to get in my seat and just practice in that silo. Just hold out of those, keep the elbows tight. And, it's a lot like golf, I guess. Keep the elbows tight.
I think that maybe flying on a commercial aircraft requires a little more skill than golf. But no, I'm just kidding. But when you think about it, what a miracle it is for us to live in an age where you wake up in Rochester, New York, and later that day you're on the Florida coast.
It does amaze me. It is really neat, isn't it? It really is.
Later that same day.
It's amazing. It really is. It's just you're up and you're down, and you have a drink or some pretzels, and bam, you're ready to go. The people ran by you, and then I get off the flight. And yeah, it is amazing. It's true. Yeah. Speaking of the death of decorum, it's one of the things I've noticed myself, and with labor shortages, it's hard to get people to come and do work. It's hard to get people to come and do interviews. So we have a team of great folks that do the work, and sometimes people are, expectations are maybe a little different than, what the real world is. And, one of the things I wanted to talk about today is, be a good partner in the process. The work we do, as we've talked about, is going to last, 15, 20 years for, typical equipment installs, 20 years and longer for insulation. So this stuff you're not going to do it every day. So in the few days we're there, we want to just make sure that this is difficult work. These attics go to 130 degrees. Be a good partner in the process and be ready for it. An example is, if we're going up to the attic, you just want to have that stairway cleaned off so that we want to focus on fixing the problem. We don't want to focus on making sure we don't step on something that shouldn't be there.
Or fall.
Yeah, and it's new to you. We try to give people the expectation or kind of the planning process of, hey, we're coming. It's going to be a little chaotic. There's a lot of people coming around your home. Our homes are sanctuary, so we don't really want people running all over it. We don't want to run all over it, and we don't want to have a problem because we have to fix that problem. If we're at the home, we have to fix it. Things happen. Mistakes happen. We didn't build the home. We don't know how it was built. A lot of times I've drywalled a lot over the past 40 years, and I've always used a screw. And I know prior to that, some people used nails. I don't know when that was an accepted practice, but nails pop. And we can sometimes insulate an attic, and a nail can pop. And these ceilings weren't attached the way we would hope them to be attached. So sometimes things happen. We come and fix them. We just need to know about it. Sometimes we don't see things, and so just have a communicated process with your contractor. Most contractors are going to want to take care of things and make sure things are done correctly. And I sometimes I see mostly we get raving reviews. Sometimes we get a review and it's a neighbor who had some dust on their property, and it's hard we don't know all the neighbors' names. It's you want to communicate with your neighbor if you're having something like exterior insulation done on your walls, because a lot of homes are close to each other. So you want to just have that talk with your neighbor. We're going to fix it. The stuff we're using is the same stuff you would use to hydroseed your lawn. So there's a lot of escalation, right? It's kind of a Facebook mentality. I'll snipe you here, snipe you there. We're better off suited to just call somebody and say, hey, this is the issue I'm having. Hey, give us some time. We'll come over and fix it. And it happens a lot. I mean, yeah. It's construction. It's kind of an unknown when you start peeling the onion of a house. So, I kind of wanted to just get that point out there because it should be a partnership. As some people have found, when you go to call people, no one's even calling you back to get work done. So this is kind of the times we're in. Understand that most people want to do good work, and give us the opportunity to make it right is the way it should be. Because getting on the internet and posting that things are wrong, it doesn't give us an opportunity to usually tell the whole story. So
once again, I feel thankful that I don't participate in social media, which I call anti-social media. I just, I way back in the early days of online discussions, I got on bulletin boards, discussion boards. And it just struck me that all these people are doing is arguing with each other and taking positions and challenging, and it just seemed like a huge waste of time to me. The other thing, too, is it seems like institutionalized envy to me. Oh, look at my vacation. Look, we went to the Gestad to ski, and then we went to Disney World, and then we went and shook hands with the Pope. It just seems boastful and kind of materialistic. So, but I don't know. Maybe this is just a theory that popped in my head while we're talking about this. Your home is always your castle. And we spend an awful lot of time during the pandemic. That's me, folks. That's not Jeff. And I think more than ever, your home is your castle, and maybe people are more territorial about it. I mean, I don't know.
It could very well be. Yeah, it's interesting, and I think you're a lucky person to not be on those sites. It's funny. Sometimes I feel like I have to be on, but they're also educational. But you're right.
I hear that all the time. But I feel like I have to. Yeah. But why?
Well, from my standpoint, we network with people across the country that it is in a specialized industry, so it's kind of interesting in that regard. I wish it would just had that portion of the social media part, but you're right. Our homes, our castle, and boy, neighbors can be. You can't pick them, right? They're like family. You can't pick your neighbors and your family, right? They're just whatever you bought. That's what you got next to you. But it's an interesting thing, and I just think people tolerance levels are down, and one of the examples I have is we always talk about people want us to come out and give them an estimate for an air source heat pump. So this technology is different. It's new, and there's a learning curve. We have a heating installing population out there that hasn't had a lot of experience with it. And recently I was at a training for one of our heat pump manufacturers, and there was 8 contractors in the room. We were probably the unique one that did the installation and the design and the HVAC install. And the contractors were complaining that the equipment was too loud and it couldn't keep up. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to do in the home. And our team kind of looked and said, well, you have to look at the thermal envelope to see how much heating and cooling it needs. Then you match it up properly with the device. And not everybody knows that. And so recently a gentleman called, and we have these no-cost assessments through NYSERDA. We sign them up. It's a 1-page form. And suddenly he called and said, no, I just want an estimate. No, I didn't want that. And it's like, well, who assigns the equipment? Who decides? You decide? You probably haven't worked in the industry. Do
right.
I decide? If I'm going to look at it from the road, I might as well just look at it from the office. Send me a picture. And so who owns that responsibility is one of our challenges, and one that we don't want to get into. We want to do the assessment to find out what the home needs. And that's one of the challenges of that kind of unforgiving society right now, is people think by getting an estimate, they're getting a massive design built. And it's not realistic in today's labor environment. I think the death of the free estimate is coming. I think that's going to be in the near future, because it's hard for a company to devote that many hours to come out and design a solution for somebody. So you take advantage of these NYSERDA programs that offer, so at least subsidized, at least a no-cost light assessment, where we come out and get a look at all the components. The home is a system. It's all the parts coming together. Basement, if there's moisture problems, will be related to the insulation problems, will be related to the HVAC problems. And you have to look at all those things together. So I'm hoping you and I are educating people on this process and the word's getting out. Because
that's what the Wise Home Energy Show is all about. Now, let me ask you this, folks out there, just to consider what Jeff's telling you. If your car wasn't running right and it was kind of sluggish and didn't have much power or whatever, do you go into the auto repair shop and say, okay, you got to change out the transmission in this car because it doesn't have any power? Right. And the mechanic says, well, it might not be the transmission. In fact, it probably is not the transmission. Do you say, that's okay? No, my brother-in-law Fred says it's a tranny. So put a new one in there. Yeah. These people are experts. That's why you hire them. Yeah. That's why you want somebody on your team who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just had it's funny. I must have dealt with a lot of Freds because I just had a home where the father got involved and said, I've been in the industry for 40 years. The industry is a loose term. And we had proposed a properly sized heating equipment, and he said he wanted a larger one, and he just didn't. And I just said, I've done 100 of these. I know what I'm talking about. And you can't say that, but I emailed him and said, I just want you to read this, and I want you to just confirm. I want the email trail that you're overriding my diagnosis. And I said, your home, we're going to also air seal it and tighten it down, so it's going to use less than it used to. And he said, don't tighten it too much. And I'm thinking, when I'm up in the attic, which half of the attic do I air seal? The front, the back, the left, or the right? So that's not the way it works. And things change. Certainly, I dealt with a gentleman over the phone. I don't know what his background was, but things change. We know how this works. We can air seal these homes very tight, and then we just have to have thought out, designed ventilation. And so he overrode me. I have the email trail, so but like I said, I don't want this guy to end up in a year being online, commenting that I put in an oversized furnace. It's like I can't win that fight.
I know it's a no-win, right?
So,
I don't know if you ever come to the point where you go, something, maybe you ought to have somebody else do this install.
Well, that does happen. We want it is a courtship. We want a client that values our expertise, and we want a client that's that wants us to do the right job. One of the things with all these incentives, people will say, well, just write that down or just tell the program this. And my thought is, if I'm willing to lie to the program, what do you think I'm going to do in your attic?
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I just want to circle back on the term to free estimates. Ain't no such thing, folks. Look, Wise Home Energy and every other business, of any repute is going to have to make a profit. They're going to have to earn enough money to keep the doors open and pay their bills and so forth. So the free estimate is just that's a come on that's an expense that gets spread across the customer base, including you.
Right. Absolutely.
No free estimates.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal point, Bob. It's
just a cost, right?
I didn't want you to give out our secret, but we do make a profit. And we've decided a long time ago that we could fix your home and no one else's, or we could not make money, or we could fix your home, make money, and then we can go on and help other people's homes.
And that explains
give people jobs.
Why Wise Home Energy has been here how long?
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
So thank you. So that's a good point. So I think that's a good time to say that, if you're having any concerns in your home or you'd like to get an expert diagnosis, call Wise Home Energy, 585-270-5836. As we said, things are busy, and it's good to prepare. Even though it's beautiful weather now, we know that this area is cyclical in weather, so we will get cold once again. I shouldn't mention it, but now is a great time to really design the comfort of your home and make it the home you want to live in.
Let's circle back for just a minute. Now, you mentioned the light assessment. This is the NYSERDA program. And tell the folks, you've got these two different levels. You got the light assessment, and then you got, what do you call the other one?
I call it an advanced assessment. NYSERDA has a term called a Tier 1 or Tier 3.
Okay.
Tier 2 is 2 tears in my eyes if I do the paperwork wrong, I guess. But the lower Tier 1 and Tier 3 are income-based, and they get advanced assessments, which is a blower door and combustion testing on your appliances. And the light assessment is a visual inspection where we're climbing up in the attic, checking these insulation levels. We're examining if the home has been air sealed. So we know the different ages of the homes and the different building flaws of that time. So you're getting a full inspection of the home visually and creating a report that shows you what can be improved. And from there, really, on that light assessment, so NYSERDA's program is called Comfort Home. And so anybody with a publicly regulated utility is eligible for this program. And what that assessment does is then gives you opportunities for rebates. So they have their specifications of how much insulation needs to be in an attic, walls, basement. And if you hit these different tiers, if your home is up to those levels, great, you're in great shape. If it's not, there's different tiers of rebates of $1,000, $2,500, or even up to $4,000. But it has to follow that process. So you can't come in and just say, I want a house full of windows, and your attic has no insulation. So it's a well thought out plan. It's something, and what's interesting is you can do it. The technology changes. So if you did it 10 or 20 years ago, it's worth a second look. It's worth a second look from someone who's had a lot of training. I continually go to training classes, and we continually send our team to training classes. This is an ever evolving industry with different technologies and different knowledge bases where we're just improving on what we know and how we can improve a home. So anybody can access that, and it's worth a look. I mean, you don't even have to be home. You got to open the door. You can sit on the couch and watch TV. Point us to the attic. Point us to the basement. And
it's not that intrusive, usually.
Really
they don't have to leave the home.
No, it really isn't. They can stay. They can go to the grocery store. They can follow us around. They can go to the attic, which 90% of the folks that we go to have never been in the attic.
Really?
10, 20 years. If it's not used for storage, they usually have never been up there. It's amazing.
When I was growing up, the attic was the home of unwanted Christmas presents.
That's right.
It's just awaiting some kind of regifting program. So the MO here, I mean, the whole reason that we're doing all this is a holistic approach to the quality of and the comfort level in your home. So heating, air conditioning, ventilation, maybe even particulate matters and dirt control and dust and stuff. This is all stuff that this is the process here is to arrive at a multifaceted solution to whatever's going on. It might be windows, and it might be insulation, and it might be, roofing, I suppose?
I mean, you could get to roofing if you had a situation where the roof, most times the roof isn't the thermal boundary, but the roof is the weather boundary. So we find that sometimes we come out. Did you know you had a roof leak? We've spotted that up there with an IR infrared camera,
right?
That can spot moisture problems or just that visual inspection in the attic. If it's a small leak, they don't know. We don't examine every square inch, but we can usually spot problems that people don't notice. You don't notice your environment that much when you're in it all the time. It's like I don't notice cobwebs on my ceiling. I'm sure there's plenty, but if I go to the house next door, I just see it. I don't know why. It looks just like my house, but you tend to see it. So we get used to our own environment, and we're climbing in areas that people don't know what to look for and what problems are there. So we're giving them that information, and we don't have a commission based staff. We have some companies use sales and an audit technique, and we just have really program project managers. They come out and diagnose the home and do what's best for the customer, and it's it works. It's great. We just did one recently where they call us in after others have failed. That's not our goal because they've generally wasted some money there. But we come in and just use when I tell you the equipment we use to diagnose, I mean, we're approaching probably the $15,000-$20,000 range. Not every tool is going to need to come out. There could be 50 tests in a home. We don't have 4 days to do that. So we have to come in and kind of be a general physician and then say, well, these are the 3 tests we need to figure out where we're at. And I wish other people would get into this industry. I think there's a lot of homes. We're getting calls that are homes that are 1 and 2 years old. So there's this mindset that, hey, my home's 10 years old. It's fine. My home, I had my attic done 10 years ago. I'm great. It's not so much how your home is, it's how you want your home to be. Is your home exactly the way you want it to be? Is that second floor hotter than it is the first floor in the summertime? If it's dramatically hotter, that can be fixed. If it's maybe 1 or 2 degrees, it's probably negligible and a more difficult fix. If you have mold showing up on ceilings, that's unhealthy for the people in the home. This is all building science, and it can be corrected.
Time and technology march on. I mean, you think about when you get to be my age, when you could buy a brand new car for $3,500. But what was that car like? I mean, did it have passive restraints? No. Did it have cruise? No. Tilt? No. Air conditioning? No. It had the little wing windows. Remember those?
Right.
All that sort of stuff. And the thing was a rust bucket by the time it was 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, cars cost a lot more than they used to, but there's a lot more car.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Same deal with making your home as you say, not a home. Don't hate your home. Pick up the phone and call Wise Home Energy, and you're going to have a much better lifestyle. It's not just about heating and air conditioning.
No, without a doubt. And NYSERDA really is focused on the energy. They get the energy savings that is easier on the whole system. You get a lower bill, but you also get those added benefits of comfort. When we get those rooms that people can't use, rooms above their garage or second floor bonus rooms, it's heartbreaking. It's because they don't know it can be fixed, and it can be fixed, and it can be fixed safely, and really it can be fixed at a reasonable price. Usually, is what we find.
Right, because you have built-in grants, or at least the potential of that.
Absolutely,
and you guys are the go-to guys for ferreting that out and finding economical ways to make your home all it can be.
Right, without a doubt. And we always talk about NYSERDA, but there are other grants. If there's income eligible people, we do have other grant sources that we can source depending on the geographical area. So there's other stuff. We don't really talk about it. Each situation is different, and it's based on the geographic area. So
real quick, let's do a 60-second elevator talk here on what the process is. You get a call from somebody, and what's the first step?
So we do an intake process. We really want to find out what's going on in the home. Some people are brand new. They don't really know much about the home. But if you've been there a while, we want to know what comfort concerns you've had. Numerous times I used to go to homes and say, hey, do you have any ice issues? And they'd say no. And I climb up in the attic and I come back down and say, you don't have any ice issues? And they said, oh my gosh, they're hanging off the gutter. Like, they must not have understood the question, or the people are on their defensive. But we do that intake. From there, we guide them to the right program. We get the utility bill. We need to do an energy analysis. We need to see the utility bill. We usually get a one-page sign-off, or there's a longer application for the income eligible.
But you do all that.
We do it all. Yeah, we do it by mail or email, and then once it's approved, then we come out and do the assessment. It usually takes 2 to 3 hours, and we welcome you to ask any questions. We take tons of pictures. People get nervous. Why are you taking pictures? We're taking pictures of your fridge. Your model number has information about how much energy it uses. We take pictures of things like drop ceilings. We take pictures of things that we're going to need to look back at 2, 3, 6 months, 3 years from now, if there's something going on or you revisit the project. We provide all those pictures to you. And then we work up the report and just show you, what's available for you to improve and what rebates are available.
Tell them to pick up the phone and call.
585-270-5836.
Don't be cold in your home. Don't be hot in your home. Don't hate your home. Just pick up the phone and you call Jeff and his band of merry men and women, and they will come and get you comfy and safe and save the money. Thanks for joining us here on the Wise Home Energy program on the WYSL stations. We'll see you next time.